Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our January's well-wishing month. So we're going over some beginning of the year well-wishing with your neighbors, with your friends, commonly used expressions in Chinese. Today, we're going to talk about 五福临门. 五福临门 normally is formulated or formatted as a calligraphy writing and put it on top of the frame of the door as a well-wishing to the household. So something like in America, I see my neighbor have a doormat, like God bless this family, something like that. So Chinese have a similar way, except that they put it on top of the door frame. And because the door is relatively short distance, then people use just 4 characters on top of the door. That's enough space to put there. And then along the side, they can make it into 7, 9, 11 different lengths of well-wishing. So that's a commonly displayed over there. 五福临门, especially it talks about the door, right? So it's commonly framed on the door. 五福临门 talks about the 5 distinctive kind of blessings. I will show you in the next page. And then the blessing comes in the form of, we wish 5 different kind of blessings approaching the door. Okay, unpack each one. 五, Chinese number 5 is kind of a mathematically created and also philosophically. 2 horizontal lines here means heaven, earth. And then this big X shape is placed over there with equal length here, from here to here, supposedly equal length. And then this otherwise, okay, let's imagine 2 pillars, right? And then we switch the ending of each pillar and switch over like that. Then the intersect point is going to be the midpoint between heaven and earth. And that's how Chinese formulate what number 5 is. Number 5 is the midpoint. Right? Okay, 福, we have the left side is Chinese fortune teller sign, symbol. Fortune telling is memorized. I mean, at least right now, I think my favorite story, there are different ways to interpret it, right? Is again, 2 horizontal lines, heaven and earth. And then 3 vertical lines is, well, the middle for the vertical line is the longest and straightest, right? The 2 sides are kind of have a curve to it, represent the past, present, and future. So you have both space and time in that 2 dimensions that we exist. And fortune telling is about to tell you when, where, what's going to happen. And that's Chinese fortune telling. Okay, the right side means enough. The way it means enough is, again, 1 horizontal line on the top of the frame means heaven, under the sky, basically, under the sky. Then you have a mouse or a circular thing that means a space. And then at the bottom, you have the farm field. So from here to here, the difference is there's a cross in the middle. The reason why is because in China, farmland are mostly cut into smaller pieces to distribute among different households. So the consolidation of farmlands was not like that, because the farm distribution have to kind of match with the population or households. So you see, if you see a space cut with a quarter cut, that means it's a farmland. And here the space, we can also view it as household. So household, farmland. 1 household, 1 piece of farmland. That way, everybody has enough. Nobody left out. No household come without land. So that's the, I guess that's the definition of enough, fulfill, or kind of a supply demand equalizing, and that's the sense. And by fortune telling, plus this enough plenty, just have enough, this balance of consumption production or land resource as production, plus the fortune telling, that means it's the type of blessing, or through fortune teller's eyes, you're going to have just enough land for enough population. That way, under the same sky, things are peaceful, things are balanced. You're not going to have starvation, or I guess oversupply is a good thing, but I guess in ancient times, we barely meet the, we barely conquer the starvation problem. Therefore, blessing comes in the four most important factors in humans' life back then would be having enough land or resources or food for just the population living on there. So that's the blessing definition. And eventually, of course, this is not just feed you. This is basically about no starvation is the blessing's original meaning, and then extends to all other kinds of, in other dimensions, blessings. Okay, Lin. Lin is the main character that I want to talk about, because I don't really use Lin in my everyday language to reflect on what exactly Lin is. When I translate as approach, it seems neutral. Approach is just a physical transition in a space, right? One from far to near, that's approach. But when I'm unpacking this, it starts to look, okay, it got some political meaning. The reason why is this symbol means submission. The reason why it's a submission, because it depicts the eye shape from the side view when one is bowing the head. So I guess it's hard to imagine. You have to observe a person. One is actually bowing the head, and you look at the eyes from the side view. This is the eyeball, like the eye shape is on a vertical. So the eyes, normally, if we don't bow our head, it's horizontally displayed, view from the front, right? But if you do bow your head, and then the eyes from the side view depicted like this, vertically. So this means somebody is in a submission position. It's very subtle, just through the eye positioning. Like it looks different than the normal eyeball depiction. Then that means that somebody is submissive. And then the right side is elongated human figure. Now, I have seen human figures in different configurations. Normally it comes like this, sometimes like this. So basically 2 legs standing thing, right? And sometimes one is longer than the other. So this 2 line, because we're landing on 2 feet, that means the 2 feet have to somewhat equal, right? One may stick out a little bit more than the other, but if you see it sticking out this long, doesn't really make sense to look at it as a human figure. But it's hard to tell, because there are 2 possibilities over here. One is it is distorted human figure, original human figure like this, and now it's just this side got elongated all the way to the bottom of the frame. It could be a formation to wrap everything here to because these are separate icons grouped together. And with this wrapper, it kind of put them in the same frame, so that it's an effort to visually make the character look integrated into one big character. Instead of, if it is short, it's almost like different elements are kind of floating around in space, right? So that's one possibility. The other possibility is it's actually not a human figure, because we do we have depiction of different concepts from the physical world that kind of converge. So 2 distinctly different things and then converge, looking similar on a 2D frame. That's possible, right? It's totally possible because we're trying to capture a 3-dimensional world into 2-dimensional space. And then when it got simplification, sometimes they overlap. So here could be one of that case. And this long strand of things becomes kind of a whip. And this whip paired with the submission symbol, almost like, okay, the whip symbolize power, symbolize inequality. So one can whip on another one. That depicts the, the power structure. One is submissive, oppressed. One is the oppressor, right? And with the submission, it's like a double down on this, because submission have to be two-party, right? Oppressed, oppressor. And so is this right side. And actually this combined together means submission. The left and right symbol combined together actually means submission and also rest. So I guess when you submit your body, extended derived meaning could be somebody is, resting, not inactive, not resisting, not moving. It could be leading down to a neutral depiction of, somebody is immobile in this submission, inactive state of being. But now paired with 3 mouse symbols. So these mouse symbols are abstraction of humans. Chinese have a way to represent human figure, not only like draw out 2 legs, using legs as the main feature, 2 legs standing being as the main feature to depict human. We also use mouse a lot. And when using mouse, sometimes it means speaking, right, naturally. Sometimes it means population, because that's a mouse to feed. And that's a kind of a problem for the governors, the rulers of a land. Like you have this many mouths, you have to feed them, right, to solve the starvation problem. So this 3 of them stack up together. That means a crowd, a population, like a lot of people. And I mean, 3, we don't view it as 3. 3 means many, and you can almost view it exponentially. It's like 10 to the 3rd at least, so that means thousands of them. Okay, so thousands of them, and then the submission. That is the revelation to me today when I'm, really staring down at what this approach means. And then I remember other expressions having this character. Oftentimes it's used together with the country ruler. The ruler approach the land. And in that sense, that's its original meaning. It's not simply a neutral approach, just depicting a physical transition in space. It's actually embedded with this power imbalance. It's the oppressor approaching the big population it's governing. So that's the kind of approach. And in this context, we're praying, basically, wishing 5 different blessings. Approach my door, like come bless my household, right? And this approach is, we're using this oppressee combination of approach. There is a submission, right? There's a population involved, to give you the sense of, okay, blessing really comes as there's a supernatural or beyond our control thing. So it's kind of similar to how Chinese view power as well. The ruler of the land to people, almost like the weather to the land to people, is out of your control. And you have no other way but to submit to their blessings, sometimes curses. It could be the ruler, come from the ruler, or from nature, right? Or from just, we categorize as luck. something unpredictable, unforeseeable, out of your control, you don't really know what's the next twists and turns of your life's plot, right? And so here, mostly in the New Year time, this door frame put 5 blessings approach my door. And that approach have this submission embedded in there, have this power imbalance. It's as if like, you really have no choice of what fate is going to throw you this year, right? So that's the kind of lin. And meant simply two panel door frame. That's a physical depiction of the door. And 5 blessings include, well, this is the contemporary version. And of course, there are more ancient versions that include virtuous living, have a good death, something like that. It's not as aggressive, or all of these blessings are commonly like a human feel the need to, that's Chinese way to characterize what you want from life, right? That's our core value as a human being that we want. All of these: happiness, joy, longevity, earnings, and wealth. So, okay, I can pronounce it for you. Fu, shou, lu, xi, cai. I don't exactly know the sequence or if sequence matters, but somebody placed it, the 5 in this formation, have longevity in the middle. And then we can, if we further classify the 5 into 3, the happiness and joy kind of on your emotional health, your mental well-being, longevity, physical well-being, the right earnings or wealth. Earnings means keep incoming wealth, right? And wealth means accumulated wealth, unspent wealth that's already under your account, but then you haven't spent yet. And earnings means future. You have the capacity to earn more wealth, right? So both of them are financial health. So 3 kind of well-beings, and that's Chinese Wufu, how they want things. I don't exactly know what's the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness and joy, I don't really know. Okay, joy, because when we have 喜, like comedy, we translate it as 喜剧, like joyful play. And so that's, I guess, more attached to your temporary, short-term, immediate, burst of positive energy. And then happiness probably is a long-term, slow building, chronically, right? You're wired in a certain way. So that is happiness feeling. It's more long-term. If I have to distinguish, maybe that's the difference. But these are the 5 blessings that people door frame, put them on the door frame to say, please come, I submit to you this 5 type of blessings. All right, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.